Dallas Cranker, Janelle Cranker's cousin, Holly Cranker's brother,
Cranky group.
and I'm a 2003 alumni, so nobody remembers me. But I'm the network and systems administrator. I kind of went the tech route with, I was commercial graphics actually in 2003, so I went the whole tech side on everything, and rather than getting into the graphics stuff, I got more into the computer side. So I'm network systems administrator for Pittsburg Public Schools, K through 12. And I've got this shirt on, and this is my side business. So I do computer repair, websites, and stuff for businesses and other people I meet through my job or in Pittsburgh and places like that. So I kind of do this on the side, and Janelle we did her website, and I've done other people's, and it's just kind of more, you asked me about a letter or something, but I don't really seek anything out of it other than just the community involvement, and hopefully maybe if you guys are interested in continuing on with a website rather than just the site for the class, or maybe you guys have a website and you want to continue with that, I'm more than happy to help you with it. But I guess what I know about what we're doing today is you guys kind of loosely decided on creating a class website, and then we also talked about individual websites, right? Mm-hmm. Who has a site or something that they're using right now, a blogspot or a Tumblr? Okay, cool. What do you like about it? If you would take that one at a time there. What do you use it for?
I have blogspot. I'm just posting up updated work and progress stuff.
Is it time consuming? Is it easy to take care of?
It's a little time consuming. I like my Facebook.
Wall.
No, I have a different Facebook
Page.
for my artwork. I find that more convenient.
Yeah, definitely. If it's something that you regularly do or something you maintain. So a lot of those things you mentioned, Blogspot, and I want to get, like, when everybody says something, I want to, like, get into the details of it and kind of analyze that. So, like, we talked about Blogspot, we talked about Facebook, and, you know, Blogspot's really just a blog. It's something you post, obviously, images, and then you can write text and stuff around it. And, you know, obviously Facebook, a social media site, but along that same vein, social media, Tumblr, Twitter, all these things have that same kind of social media element. So yeah, they're easy to use because they're part of what you're doing anyway. So sorry to cut you off there, but cool. Thank you.
Okay, and mine is WordPress. Is that
Yeah, it's based on WordPress,
Okay.
but you have your own like www.
Yeah, I have my own domain name, janellecreative.com. I haven't done a lot with it. I did it for last semester and uploaded a couple things. It's more of like a template base, correct? More of like a template, so I popped in a couple things. I haven't had the time to update it in a while, but yeah, it was pretty simple.
Only had it like 3 months.
Yeah. So.
You got your own site too?
Oh, yeah, I have a terrible little comic that I draw and a friend writes.
That's cool.
Yeah, Comic Easel is what we're using.
I think does anybody mind if we just bring those up too, take a look at them?
Go ahead, mine's terrible. Let's do that one first.
Awesome. Well, what I want to do.
Rule number 1 is don't leave the default settings.
Yeah.
And as soon as we started taking those down, everything just sort of crumbled.
I'll kind of take a step back here too, especially on the social media kind of side of it. Everybody kind of remembers MySpace and where that kind of started and how that was. And why does everybody not like MySpace? I mean, it was probably number 1, the interest in it, but number 2, just the way it looked, right? There was no consistency. People could do whatever they wanted, but they didn't know what they were doing. So a lot of the formatting and stuff always looked kind of wacky. I thought, I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think a 16-year-old girl doing stuff.
Yeah, too much stuff. And then Facebook came around and kind of streamlined everything. But what did we give up going to Facebook, though? You kind of gave up some
individual
micro
customization.
Right. And that's kind of what I want to focus on is what you guys want first of all, but what's out there too. So, what is your site?
Ramen, as in ramen noodles.
R-A-M-E-N?
Yep. Hyphen Empire, as in the Empire.
Uh-huh.
.com.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's actually quite terrible because when you Google it, it autocorrects to Roman Empire.
Oh, yeah.
That's another point you
That's,
bring up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your name right.
But it's not that it isn't right. I mean, that's really kind of a
Yeah.
cool, just that alone right there, that's one of those things I want to analyze. I mean, having your own domain name, that gives you a real quick thing to put on business cards. It helps you build that brand. And you've also got your custom stuff on there. So that's pretty cool. You got some Google AdSense, so you're making a little money on it.
Yeah. 3 cents?
There you go.
We broke $1 a couple weeks ago.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Well, we're going to try and drive more traffic to your site, hopefully.
Every new person who puts the ad up pays a penny less than what it says there. So the person who put that ad there paid us 2 cents.
Yeah,
And
ads.
it stays there until a new person puts the ad up. And I can't remember who
And
the
is
ad
this sort of
is
an
for.
option you had when you built the website?
No, we had to pass a qualification thing. It's really low end ad service, but
You guys have probably
it's
seen
good.
them though.
Yeah, oh yeah, you see them all over the place.
And it's Asian dating, so there you go.
Oh no, yeah,
Real
we do have
relevant to
Google
what you
ad
got going on
space
here.
also. Yeah. We did get the Google ad space put in there.
I mean, when you just do a Google search, really, I want to expound on that for a little bit, if you don't mind, on just the Google AdSense thing. Anytime you do a Google search, the way Google makes money, and Facebook and everybody else, if you don't know, is based upon advertising, because you're not paying them a dime to use their search engine, but they're mining information and keeping information about you when you do a search, like I want to search for house plants. And you get plants indoors, potted plants. I mean, this isn't even something that you would really order on the internet, but wow, plants on Amazon. Okay, so these on the side, obviously that's ads. Every website has ads, and it helps, you know, the person that owned the website make a little money and get a little kickback basically for the time it takes to put a website up. And I think that's really cool that you thought about putting AdSense on your own website. I do that all the time. I think it's a great thing to recommend to people too.
Yep, I want to put like 5 more up there.
Then it'd be overkill.
Yeah.
And no one,
Do you-
no one will want to go to your site.
Do you find that distracting though, as far as like a random ad?
The way that is set up currently, yes, I find that distracting. I don't like it.
Do you notice the ads on Facebook?
Yes.
Who doesn't?
I barely ever go to Facebook.
But the thing is, do you ever act on those? Does anyone ever click?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been the whole thing, is are those ads on Facebook really relevant? Because people aren't there to shop, they're there to socialize. So it's just by chance someone might click on that, really. And this kind of goes along with what we were talking about the other day. I mean, why do we need a website? Why does somebody even want a website to begin with? We'll get into this later probably too, but if you have something to sell, obviously you guys are all artists, so you have number one, a brand to create, but you also may have something to sell. It'd be really cool if you had something that you mass produced, and then, you know, this is kind of an outlet for you to go ahead and sell it. I mean, it seems kind of like selling out, but really if you've got the place to do it, that would be ideal to create a store, or, you know, maybe do jewelry or something. It'd just be a real good way to do that. Do you sell anything on your site currently?
Not currently, but that is the plan
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah. And that's what it is.
Looking
It's all,
into a donate button also. I see a lot of comments with a donate
Yeah.
button. I don't expect to get much from it.
is that something common on artists' websites, or
Yes, well,
is it
for comics, for people who do
Uh-huh.
comics for free online.
to kind of get to your
Yeah,
next-
it's just,
publishing your other?
yeah, if you like this, give us a penny, $1,
Mhm.
whatever, and
What's everyone's opinion on that? I mean, can we take kind of a poll and see, is it cool to have advertisement on your website or not really?
I'm in favor.
No, it's definitely.
Slammed or
It's your personal portfolio.
Right.
I think it's
That's to
different.
that.
for
What about a
the type
LinkedIn
of art
page?
that he's doing,
What about a LinkedIn page?
because it's not.
That's really professional, right? Everyone goes there for references.
I think that because it's comics, that you're good to go. I mean,
yeah,
it's
this isn't
entertainment.
actually my online portfolio.
Right,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
his.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the
I
way
think-
we look
I
at these
think-
sites.
I
It's
think
kind
for a
of
blog, having ads on a blog, okay, whatever. But
Really?
for like your portfolio website,
Oh.
don't put ads.
What if
on
you
it.
had a blog on your website? You click on blog, and then you had the advertisements just in that section, not on your homepage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
You give 75 cents. So we just need to restructure your site a little.
Not crank it with ads.
Yeah, well, and it could be a turnoff. I could see that, definitely.
I've seen a couple sites. I counted 13 ads on one site. I barely noticed them. They integrate them well.
Yeah. Well, and in particular, Google AdSense, you can actually customize that to match the same font and text style that you have on your page. So if you wanted to, you could go in there and change it to a green headline about that size, so that when you read down through your stuff, you'd think that that Asian dating stuff was just part of the.
Which that's what we want.
Yeah.
Right there.
Well, it really is, and I'll tell you why, because
know.
that will encourage people to click on it if your agenda is to make money on it. But that's totally
Yeah.
different side topic. So, Janelle, I know what yours is,
Okay.
and is there any other sites? Yours, what is it? You want to check it out, or?
No.
I promise I won't analyze it.
Just the rest of
So Janelle created this site really because you wanted to give a landing page for people that were looking into this event that happened and your shirt, and then it's going to be something else. That's kind of the whole goal, right?
Yeah.
It's going to morph into
It's
something
going
else.
to more. That
Right.
was a quick, like, I need to get them they need to know where I'm at.
So
And
this-
at the time, that's all I got to.
This little thing up here is kind of like your navigation for this site. Of course, you've got home, buy the book, which if you didn't know Janelle, that might be kind of, you wouldn't exactly know what that is.
Yeah.
And then contact Janelle. Everybody kind of understands what that is. And we'll
That
say
was Clever Millie.
Clever Millie was the book you
So that,
illustrated.
I mean, that tab can change, I guess. I don't really know.
And then you can buy your copy right
Yeah.
now on Amazon, which takes you right to the Amazon page where they can purchase. I think this is important too, because me and Holly were talking about on her website putting a link to her Etsy page, right? So when you create something in Etsy, it would go, people would be directed straight to a
Right.
place to purchase.
But at the
It's-
same time, those are gonna be two like separate.
They are two separate
entities.
things, but
Yeah, and so it's
you
like.
want to look at your own personal website as this hub, more or less, for, like I said, if you put that on your business card or you put that out there, send a link to somebody, when they click there, it becomes that starting point where they can jump off and go to your Etsy page,
Your
your
blog.
LinkedIn profile, your
Your
Facebook
blog,
page,
yeah.
your blogger. And really, go ahead.
Well, I just want to ask the question that's been on my mind since this was first organized. So how much does it cost for a domain name?
Great question.
And then how much do you cost?
Okay, all right. Well, the way it works is, and I'll go back to my notes here. We had a good intro here.
Yeah.
You got hosting, you got what? Domains, domain names. Everybody understands what a domain is, a www dot something.
Yes.
You know, and even your Blogspot site has a domain name. It's whatever at blogspot.com. And it's yeah, you would have to pay for your own domain name. But you know, there's so many ways to do it. I think we even talked about Wix, you know.
Yeah.
The thing about Wix is you'll get a site built in it. Let's go ahead and search some profiles here. Does anyone have a Wix page that they really like or is really
Matt?
cool?
Rona has
Yeah,
a Wix
that's one.
page.
Okay. Was it in her name?
Might be W.
Run
I
a
think it
studio.
is.
Run a studio.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a Google search to see how well it comes up.
Alright, it's not up yet.
It's not?
I mean, it is up, but she has it to where it won't come up.
What's
with
your
searches.
guys'
Hey,
Because
no,
she's
here's
not done
somebody's.
with it. Isn't it like,
Okay.
no,
This is a photography one.
I'm pretty sure it's Rona Chance.
That's not hers.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's got music too.
Whoa.
Reminds you of anything?
MySpace.
They obviously
Um,
do not know website.
I think the music though is kind of a cool thing. I mean, it's just a feature. If you don't like it, you can turn it off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot
So-
of the photographers have music with their
Yeah.
on their websites.
Yeah. And you know, if you are into photography or you do some photography, I could see a section of your site being, you know, a photography portfolio. I don't know. It kind of depends on what area of art you actually go into, I suppose.
Mhm.
I would think most of you probably at this point want more of a portfolio, kind of to show all of the things you've done. Unless you really have a brand you are building.
What is Rona's website? Rona
I-
Chance Design
It's not.
Studio.
I have a friend who's got one.
Alright,
Just
it's
posted me. FX on
She
the
has,
list.
Okay, I'm gonna keep all these up in tabs, so maybe if we have to, we
You
can
can go back
she
to
has the paintings
OCD
and
effects.
photography one.
say it again.
OCD
okay.
FX, it's on the Wix domain.
See, what that is there is a subdomain of Wix. So,
So-
yeah, everybody can tell that it's at Wix. I'm sure I typed it in wrong.
Is it
OCDEFF.
effects or F?
FX,
The
like,
letter F, letter X.
You know, and that's another good point too. Is when you select a domain name, you want it to be clear. When you communicate it for either verbally or when people click on it or can see it written, it needs to be clear. It needs to kind of be catchy. Janelle Creative, I think it's kind of catchy. You know, it's not your last name, which people could stumble on your last name sometimes.
Pronunciation and stuff like that.
So the OCDF
X.
.wix.com.
It should be. I'll search.
Is that a search one?
Google is incredibly helpful there.
Yep.
Okay, wait. I think it's OCDP.
What was that site we were looking at? You wrote it on your site.
OCD FX web, sorry. He had it web on it.
OCD.
FX web.
Web.
I'm having trouble with this.
Oh.
Really? Oh wait, did I not put?
.web.wix?
Yeah, .web.wix. Or no, OCDFX
So I think we've
So we-
pretty much illustrated why some of these domain names can be bad.
That's a good
Don't
domain.
even remember. Yeah.
It is.
So
No,
that's
I mean,
a good
it really-
lesson on
I-
choose your name
it's-
wisely.
It's a fact, but.
It is this domain.
Let's not make it too complicated.
Cool.
OCDFX web.wix.com.
Nope.
Slash portfolio.
No doubt.
/ OCDFX portfolio, I guess.
Oh wow.
And the correct, this is great, at Wix it takes you back to their main site because it's clearly you didn't want to go to something closer.
Yeah.
I want to have you just type it.
That'll work.
And I got this part right.
So with Wix,
Yeah.
does it always have Wix in the
Yes.
domain name?
If you pay, then it doesn't. But the free one you do.
Get your own domain.
So the
Yeah.
free one.
The free one you have to have Wix in it. Just
Or,
like a
or any
blog.
subdomain.
Because I was thinking of doing the free one and then
I win.
upgrading once I have a
Right.
real
Yeah.
shot.
So I'm going to go to my website here for my business.
My God.
And like I said,
I
there's
mean,
generally for a domain name, a cost, you guys asked me, it's generally around $10 a year.
oh,
And then the other side of that, we talked about domain names, the other side of that is hosting, and that's where do you want your files stored and how much storage do you need. You'll probably overestimate that, but I think the plan that I have is between $10 and $20 a month, actually. So it depends on how much you want to store, but around $100 a year you could get by plus your domain. So you're talking under $120, $150. And what's the hosting on yours right now?
Against my recommendations, we went for $30 a month package.
Did you? Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
up there sometimes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
on the plus side, on our 20,000 hit day, stayed up.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the key too. You want to size it for what you could possibly ever get. You don't want to crash your web server or whatever. There's not a whole lot of fear in that these days because most web hosts that commercially sell it, they have to meet certain kind of requirements and things. And one of the places you could actually register a web domain if you want is down here on my side. I should have a link to 1&1. If you click on this, you should be able to get it for about 99 cents, actually. And this is my little advertisement thing.
What is the 1&1?
1&1 is another one of these hosting sites. And
okay.
right here, you can type in your domain to search. I know one of the domains we were talking about for the class site was 10 stories. Was that something you guys kind of decided on? Or how would we spell that if you wanted to do
Am I
it?
spelling it out?
I spelled it out.
Spelling it out, capital T-N.
So is there a domain already created?
No.
No.
I created the email.
Oh, yeah, on their
Gmail.
Gmail, that's right.
Mhm.
Now, obviously you have to match that, so what is it?
Just 10 stories, capital T, capital S.
And actually in the world of web, you don't have to worry about uppercase and lowercase. If you type in lowercase, it'll work either way on this part of it, on the domain part of it. So just 10stories.com or 10stories at Gmail is what you have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just telling you right now, I don't know that that'll be available, but we'll try it. Because that's pretty common.
Yeah.
And then we'll find out what it really is. It did a search right there.
Wow.
Already registered, already registered. So the recommendation is, kind of like you did with the Ramen Empire, you,
Hyphenated.
yeah, hyphenation's good. Like I said though, I think the really cool way of doing it is, and particularly right now, is this misspelling kind of thing, where it's Tumblr or T-U-M-B-L-R or
Yeah.
spelled weird like that so that it's kind of catchy. Flickr was like that.
There was.
But 10 stores, I mean, you could also do the number 10. That itself is pretty short, and it's kind of easy to recall. And .co, already registered on that. So you can see with a service like 1-in-1, you can find out, first of all, GoDaddy's another one. I mean, you've heard of hundreds of them. But service like this will tell you if the site's even available to start with. And that's really helpful. You know, creating your identity on all these social media sites and different things is an important part of building your brand too. If you have a Facebook profile, you can create a page /10stories, or you could create your Tumblr as 10stories.tumblr.com, or your blogspot could be 10stories.blogspot.com. That way when somebody does a search for 10 stories, there's a couple of different sites that could come up that would lead them back to your main site. So that's a little trick you can do there too. But I don't know, where do you want to go with that? I mean, you got 10stories.co, that's kind of, .co is the new .com, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to decide now, I just thought, you know, that's...
We could do like 10storiespsu.com. I mean, because it is going to be like, it's one-time event. You know, it'll always be there, that's fine, but, you know, it is for Pittsburg State.
Let me show you, I just thought of another site that I helped with. I actually provide the hosting for itsa-psu.org. That's not what it is. I don't even know what it is.
Dallas.
Yes.
It could be blocked too.
Yeah. Carol, you know the password.
I can
It's not
unblock it, I
TSA,
think,
it's
maybe.
it's an
If it's-
acronym
yeah.
or something.
If it's blocked,
Maybe.
Yeah. On the student part of it, they don't want it.
Is it actually saying it's blocked?
No.
No, it didn't, it just didn't come up. Anyway, I've done some church sites and stuff too. I thought I was going to pull them up, but it's not relevant for this particular class. So I don't know why that's not coming up. That should be the domain though. Anyway, it's got PSU in it, and it's a school organization here at PSU.
Is it like a app?
Technology. It's
Pittstate.edu.
no, I believe it's a .org. I'm not even finding anything.
We might be able to make the parental controls a little bit looser.
I don't know why. I would
The
have.
settings are probably funky on there.
Really? Can you pull it up on your iPad or you got there that tablet? Sorry, time out. ITSA. That may not be the organization. TSA is Technology Student Association, but it's not that.
Which
Dash.
organization is it?
All the
I'm
passwords,
at the
dot,
Technology
dot, dot.
Center.
Like a GIT class?
No, it's a different org, I think. Are you on their Wi-Fi?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's not coming up.
Huh.
That's okay. Awesome.
What are you thinking of?
I don't know. how they all went away. I'm trying to think.
Questions regarding the data, questions regarding site, or questions how we
Yeah.
tell stories.
Well, kind of about like,
Okay.
I just made it myself.
yes, mainly what's out there, like what's available for a person to do. I don't remember what I was gonna ask.
Holly, give me that other artist's name. Laura Berger?
Berger? Yeah, I think she's an illustrator. Though I don't know how relevant that is to everyone in the class.
That's what I said,
Pretty
yeah.
relevant.
If everyone's an illustrator, I think
Not
we're talking about.
everybody, but
Yeah, like what everyone's emphasis is.
Yeah, maybe we ought to get into that a little bit.
So you're
Maybe she's a black spot, but I think she has a.
There's, look at this, okay guys, this is a good example. I did a search for an artist named Laura Berger, and you know, what's a popular site here? We've got Etsy, and of course she's got a profile on here. That Laura George must have been maybe her maiden name, or maybe that's her. I don't think that'd be her middle name, but Laura George is her. I don't think so.
Georgiana? No?
Anyway, you can see what the URL is here. That's the link, basically, Etsy. So that's telling you that she's got, and we'll click on these. This particular artist has a artwork and illustrations for sale on Etsy right here. Also, she's got a blog spot, like I told you. She's also got LinkedIn. Don't know what the Think Dog is, but we'll maybe find out. Maybe she's got a dog she trains or something. She's got a Tumblr page. She's got a Facebook page. So, and this is something you want to do too. When somebody searches for your name, to kind of, what do you call that? Get your name out there, basically. Just kind of have it in multiple areas, kind of like what I was talking about before. When somebody does a search, you kind of want to get them in different places. So if I search for this person, I actually get a way to get back to her site and a way to get to her stuff. So that's a cool thing.
Which you could probably, if you click her Etsy, you could
Link to her main profile page or whatever.
But see, but if you look there, just think about that for a minute. What she's trying to do is draw people in to this kind of central area, either whether it's her website or it could be her blog spot. It looks like her blog spot was updated as recent as February 3rd, so that's pretty good. I'm betting her LinkedIn wasn't updated that recently, but maybe it was. And another thing you need to know about Google, of course, it only cares about relevant information. You know, it doesn't care about stuff that's been there for a long time. You may find stuff that's been there for a long time on Google, but the reason it comes up towards the top is because it's popular. So I would say Etsy's a pretty popular place, so obviously, let's look at her site on there. It does have a link to her Tumblr blog right there too. So she does illustration.
Etsy page.
She's got a brand, she's got a logo. Does everybody have a logo right now?
Absolutely not.
That's the next step.
Yeah, put that down as something you might want to.
Well, we're doing that for, I know
Yeah.
we are in commercial art. I don't know about the painters.
but for the
What's that?
needing one for the class.
Well, for the purposes of a website, it's good to, I mean, it's all it is. All a website is text and graphics. So if you can build some consistency across the pages, you know, at the header particularly, which is this top part, if it has a graphic up there that kind of builds that consistency, it helps. You know, and whether, look, this really isn't a logo. I mean, that is, but this is just her name in a cool font, and you can do that. You did that.
Yeah.
And that's not your logo, but
It
it
kind
serves
of,
as
as
a.
a brand, yeah.
Then you can just pull up Illustrator sometime, type your name in classy font, and save it out. So you guys are interested in what these things are, probably, and the prices, I'm sure. Add to cart, boom. So 2 clicks and we can buy something from this lady.
She lists her website.
Yeah,
Does she have
okay, this is another one of those things that bugs me about, you know, using these kind of things. It's not her site, so how do I get to her site? You know, every place has it differently. If I click on here, I'll probably just get her profile. So it takes me another, how many clicks? Oh, and look at this, I can't even click on it. If that were my site, I'd want it to be clickable so you can take me right to it. But
Yeah.
obviously, Etsy doesn't let you do that, so there must be another way. So I could follow her on Etsy.
Not just clickable, but there should be an icon there.
What's that?
So not just clickable, but there should be an icon there.
Don't you think? Yeah, just since you're an artist, I mean, you want some graphics and some text to kind of tell you what's going on.
And people read it much faster as an icon.
Uh-huh.
Everybody knows what a blogspot icon looks like. If you
Yeah.
see a blogspot icon,
And I'm gonna
you're
reference.
going to that person's blog.
Right, I'm gonna
Right.
reference Janelle's site again. I'll have to go back a couple pages. I don't know, did we do that, Janelle? That was on a different one that we did. This has had several incarnations, but a lot of site templates are different sites. They'll have the little Twitter guy. They'll have the little, there's probably an Etsy logo even that you can pop into your blog.
Yes.
Throw them out.
I can put my YouTube video up there.
Yeah, a lot of your pages have that. It's kind of like common
Dang it.
things you need to include in your website. One of those being, a link to your, I guess if you do Twitter. And on a Twitter thing, I'd recommend probably doing a separate one just for your people that follow you for art purposes rather than your personal one, unless you don't use it for anything but that purpose.
Yeah.
So you're gonna start, if you start going down this road, you're gonna develop like multiple personality disorder probably, because this is my site for this is my account for this is my
Yeah.
account for that.
I
And you
think
can
it
have,
becomes too about like managing your time to like, okay, am I gonna be tweeting all the time? Or am I gonna be like?
well, that's why I say, if
uploading
you're on
my Flickr
Twitter,
page, or am
if
I
you're on
gonna
Twitter
be
already
my
and somebody.
Instagram page or
Right,
like,
right.
It's like
So, and
really
that's where I
time-consuming.
kind of go back to the website that is you, that source of everything that people can get to your www.whatevereasytofind.com domain. But, it isn't all about that either. I mean, like this laura-burger.tumblr.com, I'm just going to do what people don't know how to do that are over the age of 40 and copy this and paste it into, no, I'm just kidding.
So terrible.
That's
God.
awful.
Jeez, what a jerk.
Well, I'm about there, so.
Well on your way.
Well, on my way. This is her Tumblr page, which actually is not as cool as I thought it'd be. I thought Tumblr kind of arranged things more across, but that must be Pinterest, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's Pinterest.
And I was going to bring up Pinterest too. There was one artist you also gave me, Holly, that linked to her Pinterest page, which was kind of cool because all of her Pinterest stuff was related to like art ideas. Like it wasn't her work, but it was ideas and things she found online to kind of give her a collection of stuff to refer to, basically, for projects. But what was the other girl's?
I don't know, it could be Leslie's. I don't know if that was the one that she was gonna.
What's her last name?
Do you get DUI?
You spelled it over here.
It's a tough one.
Tell me again, Leslie.
DUIGUID. I think. I spelled it oppositely. That one.
Is that right?
Yes, there it
Thanks.
is.
DIUGI. She just.
And then it's like Blogspot though.
No, it's just lesliedugan.com.
Oh, okay. All right, but let me show you. Let's analyze her site for just a second. This is an artist in Omaha.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. I can't bring anything out here lately.
There's a computer too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Locked out.
It
Is
does.
that really how you
they-
spell it? Leslie, D-U-G-U-I-D.
I don't know. I would
D-I-U-G-U-I-D.
call on the internet being scrap.
DUIGUID?
Yeah, just
Sorry guys, take a little break here.
They never are.
I really want to show this too. Let me see if this is even her.
Well,
I hate it. What's it?
we can't really fix
I
that.
know.
It's
That's not her.
D-I-U-G. And then, I can't see that. D-I-U-G.
DIU?
D-I-U-G.
I know, I don't know.
U-I-D.
That
Okay,
that does
we're gonna
that
get there.
on like those two computers.
Wrong
Anything
place.
I check. I can't even get Gmail to work.
Not in front of a different computer.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crap. I wish I could help, but I don't know why it's doing
I
that.
don't know if it's a Firefox thing or if it's a,
I don't know.
Pitt State thing.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
here we
okay.
go. Sorry guys.
Oh,
There
yeah.
it is.
So this is actually her website, .com, which is cool, and she has across the top About Me, collage drawings, and digital hoard. And actually, this digital hoard, when you click on this, watch your address bar. Takes you to a
Okay.
Tumblr page. I thought it was Pinterest, but it's a Tumblr page.
Right.
And that's what I was saying. I mean, you can format this too, but I think that's actually how it looks. And you can kind of see her website. It kind of looks the same.
Reflective of style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just maybe the font or something. And then let's look here.
Background.
That's basically just a portfolio link there. And then let's look about me. Got her info there. Oh, and look at this. She's got another link here. You kind of notice when you mouse over it, it takes you to her resume, which is a PDF file. Should open now.
I think it'll be behind
Wow.
it. I guess.
Do you guys have resumes?
Yeah.
That would be a cool link
Wade.
to add.
What's that?
A cool link to add to your website.
Yeah, put that on your list. Logo, resume.
Resume.
What else do we have to do here?
I think-
Possibly ads if.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of trouble for what you get out of it.
Nice. I think like it's also some artists choose to like detail the work that they're putting in. So like if you go to
Oh, did she say what
collage-
shows and stuff she's been in?
on her resume, but if you go to like her collage drawings, it's like how much information do you want to tell about the work that you're showing, the year, the media, concept, or whatever.
So she actually did not use anything to build this except a little bit of what you call code.
Aw,
So something that'll tell you how this site is built. At least in Firefox, you've got a tools menu, web developer, page source. And sometimes in Internet Explorer, you've got stuff over here. And it's going to look really confusing, but let me just walk you through it real quick. You guys might have seen source code before.
Blah.
Bunch of garbage. It looks confusing, but most of it you can completely ignore. And basically she's got H1, which means header. You don't need to know this. But she's got a link. That means href, link, reference link to index.html. She's got another link to about.html. And then she's got another link to portfolio. And if you go back to the site, that's pretty much what you have. And like the other links, the Tumblr page. Pretty clean. I mean, look where, if you look down here at the bottom left, oh, you can't see it. This will help. So, one thing I like to show in Firefox too that helps me figure out how sites work is, I don't know, something. Firefox hides it.
Nice.
Basically, when you put your mouse over a link, it brings it up down there at the bottom left. You see that resume.pdf? It kind of helps you figure out what's going on here. So before I click on that,
Okay.
you kind of, see portfolio.html, about.html is in the address bar. She actually has no way to get back home, and that's, well wait, nope, I lied. Click on her name. And it's, if you mouse over that, if you look down at the bottom left, index.html. Does that make sense to everybody? Have you ever stopped to analyze that a little bit? I mean, probably most of you guys know that or not really.
Yeah.
Kind
I mean,
of, okay.
It's
There's
like
not a
a
home button
There's a
for
class
this
we have
time.
to make.
Okay. Yeah, I think this may have come from a product of a class she may have done, possibly.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, she just made it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I say. It's really simple as far as layout.
Streamlined. I think that's important, like keeping it streamlined so that it's like one home base. You're not clicking through 1,000 things.
Yeah.
So let's break this down. You've got a title that's more or less her logo, like we're talking about. We've got like a landing page here. We've got this image, and this is something she probably thinks kind of, I guess, typifies her artwork maybe, because that's on her main page. You don't see anything else. This is cool to put a tagline down here, copyright. That's cool. The About Me. And then, of course, she's got what I would call like a portfolio link here with the collage drawings. We'll get into those later. I know you guys want to look at them. And then the digital hoarding, which is just what she calls this link to frontwardsandbackwards.tumblr.com. So she got on Tumblr one day and she created this profile called Frontwards and Backwards. Maybe that was going to be her brand, or maybe that was her brand for a class or something. It really doesn't matter, because somebody can go to her Wayne website and get to it. And she doesn't have to tell them frontwards and backwards. And when they type it in, they won't get stumbling over the and symbol or whatever, however they spell it. So, and that's just your regular Tumblr page. You're taken away from her site and go to her Tumblr page. Ideally, like I said, it's good to keep everything on your page. There are ways to create, like even with that Etsy thing, I have on one of my deals here, it's a computer thing, but I can just add to cart. That's my website, okay? Everything computers, my business. I've got a little bit of information there, and then I've got a blog, but this is the most recent article from my blog, and I've got that dumping into my homepage, so I've got content that always changes when people go to my webpage. Yeah, I mean, it's just a structuring thing, and then I embedded a YouTube video about this product, and then if somebody wants to buy it, they can actually add to cart, buy it right there with Google. So that's another one of those like AdSense type thing, Google Wallet. It's just something that people use. You can go into Google Wallet, and most people use it as a consumer to pay for things, but you can also sell through it. So it's like it's not an Etsy account by any means, but it's a way to sell something directly on your website, and it is free for a merchant account on this. Now that gives you the ability to accept credit cards.
But it is kind of like eBay, you have to have an account name for Google Wallet?
You just have to sign in with a Gmail account. Like if you want to do your 10 stories, you would just sign into your Google account,
Yeah.
and then look for Google Wallet or Google Checkout is what it used to be called.
Okay.
And then it says, do you want to sign up for an account? Yep, sign up for an account, and it just uses your Gmail ID.
Cool.
And that is just, what that is, again, that's just a little bit of code that's popped into this particular article. So all this was just typed by me, and then down here at the bottom I pasted in this picture, I resized it to the size that I wanted, and then I have a drop down menu, which is part of the code that I was talking about, kind of showing you before. A lot of the things, like even on just a general YouTube video, what's a cool YouTube video that's art related?
iPad art.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
What's that?
You want a really cool
Yeah.
YouTube? Put in John, Crown Point Press, John Cage, YouTube. I was watching it today. Go to,
Any of those?
Just to spell it.
I think yeah, it's this one. It's 2 minutes.
Oh, I don't know if we have audio. Hold on. Hold on. No, we do.
Oh, you do, okay.
It's gonna probably crackle.
Is it turned way down on the computer?
Yeah, probably. Can you hear it?
It's just,
Barely.
I can tell you what she's saying. Do we show the visuals or are we?
I just wanted something here to kind of show you the breakdown on a YouTube page.
Oh, okay.
We can still watch it though.
Yeah, you can still watch it. So when I go full screen like that, I kind of lose some of the functionality here, but all this is these mean things, you know, like pause and volume and where you're at. And you guys are pretty familiar with that, but then there's some other stuff in here you may have dealt with before. And I don't know how I can get it to come up here.
Show your bed.
We want to watch this. It's just another minute.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
You all familiar with John Cage? Yeah. I'm going to show them this in Design World. She'll quit right away. She's just telling him about the chance operations and how he would set everything up ahead of time, and he wouldn't change anything up from what he set up and accept the results. It's a long 26.
oh my gosh.
Do this at home.
Very, very interesting.
It's so
Holy
good.
cow.
this particular video only has 1,800 hits. And if you click on this little button down here, it says statistics. It'll kind of tell you what's been going on with that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but one of the key things I want you to take away from this whole thing is cross promotion. And that was the term I was trying to think of before. I mean, posting something on YouTube itself isn't going to get it out there. Putting that YouTube video on your Tumblr page, on your Facebook, and everywhere else that you can think of or have already created behind this brand is going to take those segments of the population that are regulars on there and get them to share it with their friends and show everybody else what's going on. This particular cool video could have a lot more hits if somebody embedded it on their wall or on their Facebook page, or somebody embedded it on their Tumblr page, or somebody put it on this or that. I mean, if it's out there in multiple different places, it's going to come up in search engines. Like when we did that one search, it showed all the different places that this thing is. It was kind of hard to find this, actually. It was about the 9th one down, and that's very specific to what it was. What's that?
So you spelled it right.
Oh, did I spell it wrong?
I think you wrote something. You wrote crest instead of press.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see. Sorry. I guess I can't hear very good here. So. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Found it.
But
Yeah,
down
it's
here
different for
on
years, I
the
don't know.
statistics, for this particular video, obviously they tried to use Facebook to promote it initially. And February 1st, it was embedded on a Facebook page. It got 33 views. And this is all public information, actually, which is kind of scary to think about it. But then somebody embedded it on this magicalsecrets.com. I imagine that's somebody's own website. Yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and click on it. Why leave it to guessing?
Who's supposed
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, that's Crown Point Press. That's a book they publish.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Magical Secrets.
Crown Point Press, okay. And I typed in press.
There you go.
Now, what this is, I can tell you right off by looking at it. That's a WordPress site. I can just about guarantee it. So I'm going to view the source. I'm going to go back to this tool that I told you about. I'm going to view page source. And somewhere in here, just do a search for WordPress. Sometimes people hide the fact of what kind of content generator they're using.
Really? Huh.
That helps with people that want to hack your site.
Oh.
If there's a known way for somebody to hack a WordPress site, or a Tumblr site, or a Facebook site, or whatever it is, I mean, you're susceptible to that. So this source code here tells people what created it, and this one's not telling me, but to me, it looks, just in my opinion, it looks like a WordPress site. I may be wrong. There's several other code generators out there, or what are actually called CMS, content management systems. And CMSs are these things we're talking about, like WordPress, like Wix. They help you manage the content or the pictures and the text on your site.
Okay.
Give me a minute here. I don't see anything interesting.
I'm gonna look at their site.
Come on, this is more interesting.
So boring.
Well, and you can tell here they've got a link possibly to a Yahoo store. So let's look at that in real life.
In real life.
Visit our other websites, and from our bookstore, I bet that's maybe an Amazon, or it is, yeah, that's that Yahoo store. If you mouse over that, that's what they're selling right there, that book in a Yahoo store. So I'll go ahead and click on that for you. And within 2 clicks from their site, looks like they have not got it set up correctly. Yeah, let me click on it. That book I want, right? Clicking on it, boom. So they've got a problem with their site, actually. This just goes to the basic small business. Maybe they let their subscription lapse on this starter kit that apparently they bought for $29.96. Here's what their shopping cart would look like: youth soccer ball. See, this is kind of like getting into the guts of their website. They obviously want to sell this from our bookstore. Portigo, have you ever clicked on that? To see
No,
it?
I haven't. No.
I would imagine it should take you, obviously, to somewhere where you would buy it.
Yeah.
Right.
Can everyone accept that?
Yes. Yes.
So, Yeah, so I don't know. Is that kind of cool? I mean, maybe you guys already kind of knew about what page source is. I know it's boring, but it does kind of help you see what's going on behind the scenes. I think that's an important part of understanding what components make up a website. And you know, even this big site here, they're relying on Yahoo Merchant Center or whatever this is called, store.yahoo.net. You know, they got something wrong in it, or they let their subscription lapse, and they can't sell this book now.
Where's the video? Is it at the bottom?
Yeah, this looks like their blog is dumping into their main page too.
Okay, so maybe we could talk about like, I guess you could have a blog, a Tumblr, a Flickr.
Yeah, well, see, they've got a
blog.
blog spot, takes you right to
But,
their blog.
Like, what, I don't know, like, stripped down version of our website would be have a title, an about me, blog, portfolio, like, I don't know, I guess
Resume.
I'm just
I
trying
think
to.
it's like what,
AdSense,
yeah, how you want it to
Google.
function.
Yeah.
How it should function or what it's
Like, what,
purpose.
Yeah, links to different
Yeah.
things that you're involved in.
okay.
I mean, that's even going back to, I think what this is a professional site here.
That you work with, very good idea. Well, I mean, or people, like, you're gonna join a group of people.
Like an association.
Yeah, it's, you wanna make links up to them so that they send you links too.
Social networking and using that as a tool to send or get your website found.
So supposing that, okay, like, can we, because I, you know, probably as a class, I doubt if they want to make the investment of paying for a website that in 6 months they're all going to have gone different directions. So like but they have this image of like a 10-story building and then they want to have
Yeah.
every window. How do they do that?
I think that's a really cool idea, and Janelle talked to me about that, and I think I would be very willing to just allow that for free on my server so that you guys can kind of get that jumping off point that you want. The steps to get to that, I think, obviously we're not going to create that today, and we probably need to really decide how many classes we want to do this together with, but probably your next step would involve, you know, actually creating that graphic. And then what we're going to do is slice that graphic up. We're going to put it into its own web page, on its own web domain, on my server for its hosting. As far as buying the domain, we need to kind of cross that bridge too, and we can probably do that tonight. If you want a www something, you know, I'll donate you 99 cents or whatever it is. I'm not too concerned about that. But the idea is that there is a domain that is created. Then we need to put something on that page. We require hosting, you know, the server to store that. And then we're going to link to each individual one of your guys' sites, whatever direction you decide to go. If you build that Wix site, if you have a site already, if you just want to do a blog site. I think that's going to help with this, like I talked about the networking side of it, where you want to be able to have all your friends see your site or just go somewhere and then get that jumping off point so that it's easy to find.
Even if, okay, so let's say I didn't have a website and I wanted to hold off on that until next year and I'd be graduated, whatever. Could I link my window to my art Facebook page instead of a website?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think for
Well, I mean,
simplicity,
if I didn't have my Wix or I didn't have my WordPress or whatever, if I didn't have anything but a Facebook page for my artwork, I could
link
use
directly
that
to
link
that.
it.
Yeah, to the
Okay.
public album. Yeah, that's what I was searching for. The actual public album just for that.
Okay.
Because maybe you got your rest of your Facebook pictures are private or something.
Yeah, okay.
I thought you were talking about like a separate Facebook that's just for art.
Or that, either one. Like
could
if
do
I
that.
had Janelle Creative, it has its own Facebook, and then I had Janelle Creative. So I could just link it to Janelle Creative.
If somebody types in that domain name, it goes straight to your Facebook page.
Yes.
As far as a promotional thing, I think it'd be cool to promote from that 10 stories or whatever you decide it is. And then that is the single point where people would go to for, you said somebody said there might be like a press release or something for that.
Yes.
Or,
Yeah.
so it's a project. And that's part of just building that brand for this particular class. But the benefits for you guys is you'll be a part of that. You'll be one of those 10 stories.
Right.
And that makes the interest, in the site, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think the graphic, of course, needs to be real cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll basically just
Really
scan that
cool.
in, or if you guys create it digitally or whatever. And then that shouldn't be that much of a
Yeah.
problem, really.
So then supposing then, it's sounding like if everyone wants to do this, if they want to do this, we need to meet one, maybe 2 more times, and you would assign, you would officially say, everybody bring this, like you gotta bring your URL, or you've gotta have the graphic, or the graphic would already be in, and then they would plug all this in.
And I would probably help to some degree on that first page.
Yeah.
And then, just link to it. And, I think we can work out a lot of this through email down the road too, like you talked about a year from now. If that domain's still up and everybody's still on there, and we still communicate, we could also create a group. Have you ever created a Google group or something like that where you just post to it and everybody gets the emails?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can create our own email list, and newsletter, something like that. I don't know how far you want to go with it.
Yeah. The possibility of it.
You guys all want to meet like once a year?
It's a reunion.
The 10 stories, come on.
Yeah.
We'll have a YouTube video, right?
Oh, yeah.
We could. Anything's possible.
So we need the graphic,
We need the graphic, we need to slice it up, we need to decide on a domain name.
And is this still free, like, you're putting it on your?
I'm putting it on my server free of charge for 10 stories. Now, if you guys want to do your own websites now, we can talk about that. More than likely, there's only 10 of you, and I think most of you some of you have sites, and some of you may not want to have your own www. whatever. You're going to have to pay for the domain name. I can get it for 99 cents, so it's not that big of a
Or use some of your
investment.
free options, like you say, like the WordPress or
Mhm.
your Wix.
Yep.
is-
And again, with the free options though, you want to, if you're going to invest in that domain, you want it to be something that maybe you've already created in WordPress or .blogspot. That way you know that you can get those things, because as we can see, a lot of people have already put their name out there. They've already come up with 10stories.com. It does exist. I don't know what it is spelled
I
out.
would take advantage of Dallas's offer of 99 cents. You can get a domain name without any of the other stuff. For right now, he's
I
offering
think we
that.
could just
I would
add
scoop this moment.
PSU to the end of it.
Did you come
Yeah,
to
Janelle said.
brands?
Yeah, try, if we could maybe try like 10 stories. I like it spelled out versus
Nifty.
whenever I think it's
Yeah.
needed that way.
And I feel really bad that you guys already created the Gmail account with that domain, or that name.
I'm
in mind.
creating another one.
We can.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
We've done anything.
just add
Right.
like PSU to the end of it, or,
And that's kind of what you have to do, like
or whatever.
a YouTube profile or something, youtube.com/10stories. You'll have to go out there and kind of see what's available.
What's about?
Yeah.
Who is this?
Bug Commander.
That's that duck show, right?
That's
Duck Commander.
That's not a bad
That's
thing.
Duck
to be
Dynasty, I
confused
thought.
with,
Yeah.
You know?
Duck
There's-
people. Aren't those the guys from the show?
It's a good match. At least it's.
Hey, there's only 7 of them.
Yeah.
Live.
Oh.
Lies.
Those are not 10 people.
It's about,
I like
What
how
is it
it
about?
actually is an art, website,
yeah.
rather than.
It's better than just like.
Visual authors. Cool.
So it's a company.
That is a good thing to be confused with.
That is neat.
I'm kind of bummed that there's not 10 people though.
Yeah. That's not as cool as us.
Did you not make your 10? Or you have too many?
No, there's 7
We
on
only have 7 on there.
There may be.
So we're gonna hijack the site, put your guys' pictures on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
We did this, hire me.
Talking about
Are we going ethical, non-ethical here?
No, we're art students.
See how we can get this
That's
done.
funny.
10 stories.
PSU.com.
Wow, it doesn't come up. That's
All
good
right,
sign.
all right. Yeah, because neither did the other 7
Promising.
things we tried, so.
psu.com
Kelsey, did your husband Google this?
for 99 cents.
Woo,
It's
woo.
available.
Did you say your husband thought of it?
Of course, they're gonna try and make
The
you
name?
buy all the other ones.
Oh, yeah.
So that nobody else can get close to you.
No, I'll go ahead and get that
Then he
registered
genuinely
tonight.
thought
It'll
that
take
on
24 hours for that to
Or
be
not
available.
plagiarized.
And then we can start putting content on it. Of course, you probably won't have anything by then necessarily, but
Yeah.
we'll have something come up. So when you go home Wednesday night or Tuesday night, you can try and bring it up and maybe there'll be something there.
Cool.
Okay, so do you want me to change the email? No.
I don't think I need to.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It's close enough. And storiespsu.com.
Because there could be a 10 stories PSU, 10 stories any other college after, right? 'Cause this is gonna be a chapter thing, right? Or
Yeah.
a charter.
Yes,
It's just a chapter. So.
we're going viral, baby.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So should they just, so the ball, the ball just got pushed off the hill. I see it rolling now.
Yes.
It's going.
Who's gonna grab it?
Right. So would they, if someone has links, can they send them to you and we can start?
Yeah, yeah, in fact,
and then slide them into the graphic after?
why don't we send them all to Gmail account?
Very good.
And then they'll all be there. Do we wanna hold that password secret or do we wanna share
Well,
it?
I've already posted it.
Okay, I was gonna say, cause if everybody can get in there, then we kinda all have access to the same things. And we're all like, you know,
It's part money, and you see
communists that way or whatever.
So you
So
need
all
it.
it's
Cool.
No.
Dallas, you need it, right?
Yeah, we'll need it.
Yeah, I would just need it then at that point.
all right.
Yep.
Yeah. Samantha, what's the password?
I'm gonna put your
Art
contact
Bunny.
information on the
Art
board,
Bunny.
Alex.
It's Art Bunny.
Yeah.
It used to be the password for these computers, so everybody but Reagan and Matt would know it.
Right.
And we just felt like excluding them makes us happy.
There are only 2 people that had to memorize it versus 10 people memorized it.
No, I'll give it here.
You could have made the password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody's seen Spaceballs.
There's no like
If
typing.
you haven't, you don't deserve to get
I
in.
don't think everybody's seen Spaceballs.
If anybody
If
wants
you
my
haven't seen
email
Spaceballs,
address,
they don't deserve
it
to
is
access their
D
Gmail.
Cranker, first initial, last name. Yeah.
Every time somebody brings out Spaceballs, I think of the jam scene. Jams. It's
Only one man would dare give
Is it boysenberry? Isn't that the
Raspberry.
flavor, or is it raspberry?
raspberry.
Okay, this is kind of weird. It's EVTCOMP because it's everything computer, but I wanted it short.
Nice.
.com.
Did the, oops, sorry, the Tumblr flicker.
Yeah.
Tumblr.
So right there, and that's my website. And then I got my 1-800. That's actually toll free, 1877. And then my cell phone number.
I wouldn't call that so much.
Yeah, it's toll free.
And that actually doesn't cost anything. If you have a landline, which maybe none of you do, but you can call your phone company and ask for a toll-free number. And what that does is it reverses all the charges for anybody that calls that number to your account. That's kind of bad,
Maybe
but
that will go in our blog and then we're in a newsletter or something or some page. You're very tiny. Sounds very, very
this is
tiny.
the ring.
Everyone's
Or just for the blog or for wherever. for your
This is
PSU
our
and get
first
it like
meeting
out there.
of
Yeah.
Thank you.
stories.
Yes, the beginning,
Beginning of 10 stories.
the first story.
First
This is
chapter.
the first chapter of the story.
The first floor.
Maybe just the first sentence, really.
The prologue.
Prologue,
Yeah.
that's it. I was like-
Preface?
I was like epilogue.
Yeah, there we go. Preface. That's the word. Yeah. Preface.
The forward.
The forward.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
which back we
Okay.
go.
Now, what you could do, okay, yeah, let's, if we got a little bit more time, when we get into this.
If anybody needs to go.
I don't
Okay, you're
need
fine.
to go, but dinner.
If you gotta go, whatever, but.
Thank you.
Well, like she's pregnant, she can leave there
We
anything.
will let you know, the next meeting,
Okay.
so we can start getting hands on stuff.
Okay. Thanks, good.
So just as a way of structuring this,
So Tyler, do you have links or anything you can send to me? Anything?
I've got a DVR now.
I've got some links I can send.
and we didn't even mention that, that's a good site.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, cool.
Definitely want to link to
I
that.
like
That to the 10 stories Gmail, so we can start collecting all those things.
Now, is it contact dot 10 stories? Okay, so it's actually this email. Did you know this?
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know
okay.
that.
Yeah, I sent
I
it
didn't
to,
delete that.
I sent it to Candace, so everybody should have it.
Yep, I got it.
At Gmail. So when you have your own domain name, like I do, you can create sales at evtcomp.com. This is something we can talk about doing later, maybe. But you kind of set the groundwork for it when you create and publicize an email address like that. That becomes what people use. It's a little long. If I were to do it, maybe I would be
Info or something.
contact or info, whatever, at, what
I
was our
tried
domain?
Admin, and then I tried info.
10
and it wasn't
stories.
taken, so it went.
PSU.com.
Like that?
Yeah. I see.
That's neat.
That's neat. Okay. Yeah.
What did I do here? I don't know what's up with that, but contact at or info at. So you can do that once you have this domain. We don't have the domain yet though, so when we do, you can actually forego this Gmail address if you want and just make it contact at 10storiespsu or info at or whatever, something like that.
The email would be literally, the ending of the email would be.
Yeah, once you
at
own your
10stories.
domain, that's the key. And this is
That's
how
the easy
professional websites do
Well,
it.
before the press release goes out, we want to
Decide on that?
switch to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
When was the
We
press
would
release?
That's
have
why I
to
said
have our
that.
domain up.
That's why I say you don't want to necessarily publicize this.
Right,
You
it's
got
not
that,
out yet.
thank you.
I mean, it's just for our own personal Gmail right now. But we would have to have
You'll
the
have,
domain set and running.
Well, we can do that. Like I said, that's gonna be within 24 hours. If
Okay.
that's what you guys really want, is the 10 stories PSU.
I think that's great. I think that's a good one. And then, yeah,
You
then
know,
we can change it to.
Another thing you could do, if you did the 10 stories, you guys saw those subdomains, like we talked about creating a charter, you could be PSU dot 10 stories,
Cool.
whatever.
Yeah. Yes,
Dot
yeah.
com. Because each of these is its own site, if you ever created, Harvard, Yale, whatever.
Nice. Very good.
But it's another way of shortening it.
no, but what's interesting about that is PSU is also Penn State
Yeah.
University,
Mm.
you know, so we're getting people
We'd have to do
finance
Pitt
them
State
all.
dot.
But no, I didn't, no, that, I mean.
I'm kind of
people
veering away from what you
find
guys
us
already decided. but-
From Penn State.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
I
East
think
Coast
that's a
and
good
Western.
thing. I mean, I think that's a
We
good
can
thing.
catch some stumblers that way.
Yeah.
Like, oops.
Well, and
not what I
that's
meant,
just
but
the way
that's-
my mind works, though. When you set up one thing, you kind of want to make it kind of match what's going on in the rest of
But
the.
there's,
Sure.
I mean, even if we're set up enough to change the press release, that would be very cool. It would look very professional.
I think so
From the
too.
very
Yeah,
beginning,
yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
so why not?
And that's part of that
Yeah.
building the brand that you want a consistency in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do that, and then you should email me all of that, so I can
Yes.
get it printed and
And
get
I
it
had
up.
asked Sam what she wanted with contact. And then no phone number or our
Oh,
office
you
number?
can use, or you can use my number.
So the art office, your office number? Okay. Which I
Well,
have.
no, do the art office, because Marty's there all the time, and I'm not I have bad friends from the phone. So 4302, I hate for you all to miss a call about information, because whatever they need, she needs.
4302, okay.
But that feels very productive, we made progress.
Yeah, I think so. And once we have some more material, some feedback and
We
stuff.
should
Yeah.
bring you up tonight, because we will probably want to have you back, or set up another time to make it
Yeah.
a little bit further.
All right.
to get the